Hi, folks. Hope you're all keeping well. Welcome back. So, today we're going to be listening to the song Supercrush, which is off the 2009 album Addicted by the Devin Townsend Project. Quick disclaimer, this is not a reaction. This isn't the first time I've heard this song, but what I am going to do is a kind of unscripted talk through, breakdown, analysis, if you like, of the song. We're going to run it through and chat about some different stuff that happens in it. I've been a Devin Townsend fan since Infinity came out. First time I was introduced to him was one of his songs was on like a Metal Hammer or a Terrorizer. I can't remember. I think it was Metal Hammer magazine, which is was a UK rock metal magazine that I used to buy when I was a teenager. And the song Bad Devil, I think it was on it, prompted me to get Infinity. And I've since seen him live twice, I think. Incredible performer, and nice to finally get him on the channel. I've had a few people asking me to react to him. The requests naturally have been songs that I've heard before, and somewhat unconventionally we're going to go with this song. The reason for that is it seems to be that some of the requests that have come in are what a lot of other people are talking about, so I kind of feel like it makes more sense in my head to do something different. You know, why bother doing the same thing that everybody else is doing? This album was quite an unusual one for me, with having Annika from The Gathering singing so much of the album. I didn't know that ahead of time. I remember just buying it, seeing Devin Townsend's name on it and buying it. I was sort of surprised with the amount of lead vocals that she sings in it. But of course, her and Devin share lead vocal responsibilities throughout the album. I do actually have that on CD as well, although the artwork had to be binned, so I only have the CD. A lot of my CDs in my parents' house succumbed to damp and mold, and back then a lot of these CDs that I have back here don't have artwork because the mold crept into the artwork and couldn't be salvaged. Salvaged some of it, but fortunately I've got the CDs for most of it. But anyway, so a little bit of background on this album before we get going. Addicted is the 12th studio album by Devin Townsend, and it's the second album, the Devin Townsend Project series. It was released on the 17th of November 2009 on Devin's independent record label. Actually, thinking back, probably around this time, maybe slightly earlier than this, my best friend actually worked briefly for, he was there a couple of years in Germany, working with Warwick basses, which are sort of closely linked with Framus, which Devin plays. And he actually told me about the time that he met up with his work colleagues and they went out for dinner with Devin one night, and he said, that Devin's, personality. I mean, I've watched lots of interviews and different things of him over the years, so I know what he's like, but he said he just had him in stitches the whole time. He said he was like hilarious and sort of farting and burping through the dinner and stuff like that, but yeah. Regarding this album, Devin has said that he considers it sort of more melodic and danceable music, but is much heavier than some of his previous albums. Getting this information from Wikipedia, it also says that he's quipped that some parts of it sound like Meshuggah and some parts of it sound like Boney M. And it says that unlike Townsend's previous albums, which are usually played in open C tuning on the guitar, most of the songs in this were played in open B, and then it lists a few different songs there that are in different keys, B flat, C sharp, to accommodate the vocal range of Annika. So if this is your first time here, folks, please do like and subscribe if you enjoy the video. Comment below if there are any other songs you'd like me to listen to. Consider supporting me on Patreon, links are in the description, where you can check out some of my own music, and I also have links to buy me a coffee if you want to help support the channel. So without any further ado, let's get going. What an introduction. 56 seconds of yes. All the sort of crucial elements of Devin's production when it comes to his music, just massive, massive wall of sound, but being able to hear all those details as well. So let's talk a little bit about this introduction. So we start off bass, drums, snare, now Annika. Now, what is interesting to me there is actually whenever the vocals come in, I do recall it taking me a few goes to finally feel like I knew how long it was to anticipate that, if you know what I mean. Now, if this is your first time listening to this video is definitely not the way to go because I'm going to be stopping all the time talking about it. So you really should go and listen to it in its entirety first and then come back. But if we think of that dun 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 dun, that ostinato that goes throughout, I think we're in 4/4 time here. But there's something jarring about the syncopation in that because he keeps that dun 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 constant. But what seems to happen to my ears is that you've got a bar of 4 where it's the accents are in a certain place, and then in the second bar of 4, so it'd be a 2-bar phrase, 8 beats. Then those jin 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 are lined up slightly differently. So by the time we come to the third bar in the sequence, we're back to the pattern that was in the first bar. Now, the way it starts, to my ears, is not on the first bar. I think actually there's a beat ahead, and we're coming in on 2. And so if I counted out, say, an 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, hopefully we'll line up so that when the full beat comes in with Annika and all the rest of it, that we're on the 1. But you'll notice it doesn't work if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 in. I think it starts on 2. So hopefully I can do this actually. So I'm going to count 1, and the first beat you hear is going to be 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1. In terms of the size of the production, it's huge. Not only is the guitar massive in the beginning, but he then manages to ramp it up with the bass and drums and everything comes in. And you've got that superb thick low end and then these sort of glistening atmospheric sort of twinkly vocals on top. What an aggressive noise gate as well. Do you notice in between all and the silences in there? I don't know whether he's using active pickups or not on his guitar, but gin gin. Total silence in between each one, no crackly amps. That bass tone, man. Listen to where the snares fall. There's the cadence, finished. Go! Synths. Oh, shivers already. sus4 to the 3. This. It's like explosions going off. We also hear lots of layered vocals. Now, I've got pretty good monitoring headphones on here. I can't tell what he's saying, but I can hear the sort of spoken words and different sort of mantras or whatever's going on in the background. So I get the impression that we're not supposed to hear exactly what's going on, but we can hear the sort of spoken, like there's like ramblings and different things happening. I seem to recall that from his earlier albums as well. His use of layering. I mean, it's not only just the instruments that are obvious with guitar, bass, drums, and vocals and so on. Like whether it's synths, vocal samples, things being played in different keys, and we'll get into that later on because I'm fairly sure that he blends tonalities in this song, where we've got our ears will be pulled to a particular chord or harmony, but there's stuff layered in the back that is completely clashing, but it's done in such a controlled, chaotic way that it sounds chaotic but still enjoyable without sort of losing the pulse and all of those other things. So, and it gives us an opportunity in the introduction to get to know the hook, the chorus, because that is effectively a bit of an intro and then chorus, so that our ears are primed to hear that again. And the way he moves around it. I guess we could take this opportunity to talk about the chords and keys and stuff. I mean, we read in Wikipedia that the majority of the songs were in B, and again, we're in B. So, now, unusually he moves from B major to G. Bit sci-fi, yeah? But his use of the sort of tension in the upper parts of the harmony, it actually feels more romantic to me rather than sci-fi. When you hear them on their own, I get a science fiction kind of vibe, but when you hear the... So there's the sus4 I was telling you about. So he has the E down to the D sharp. 5. Now this G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would be the 6 to the 5. 6, 5. So if I recall going on through that progression, goes down to the E minor, which is the relative of the G, back to the G, and then there's like a raised 7th in there, which would be the A sharp. But I don't think it's an A sharp chord. I think it's like an F sharp over A sharp, if you know what I mean. So there's the F sharp, which would be the 5th. Hopefully you are keeping up with me. This is the dominant. You theory buffs out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The F sharp. But it doesn't sound sort of polite and clean like that because he has the A sharp from that chord on the bass, not the F sharp. So we get this tension and very dissonant sounding in context. So down to the E minor, back up to the G, and that's us ready for Annika to come in with her vocal. So we'll just take it in one more time in its entirety, and listen to the sort of nuances, like I was saying about the sort of whispers and spoken words and different things that are going on texturally within that. I can already hear Devin in there. All these sort of weird noises. Big swell. Cool drum fills there in the snare, and it's part of the groove. Yes. There's the dissonant. More staccato on the riff. Down to the E minor. Synths, swirling sounds. Build, drop. In my legs. Yes. Jesus, man. Devi, you got me shivering. Let me see. Let's go back. Bass plays as the ostinato continues. We can hear some like flangey kind of effect going on in the synths, but listen to the ghost notes in the start. Really, really audible. You know, it's actually sort of really integral to that groove. You know, normally you'd have and those ghost notes would just be so textural that mainly drummers will notice them. But we can really hear that they're, whilst they're softer than the main accent, they're still there. You know, very unusual drumming, very idiosyncratic drumming, which definitely helps contribute to this being very memorable. Listen to Annika's vibrato.
So tell me if you wanna. You should change it if you're gonna. But I don't really know how.
Vibrato.
I've already tried.
And the gliding from note to note, you know, it's so. Fortunately, that's all we can do on the piano. With timing and touch, we can make it expressive, but we can't do the glides. You do it on a guitar with the bends, you know, that's why I play guitar, not really. But she glides between all those notes.
I've already tried.
Beautiful. I love the way Devin uses his voice like texture, like it's an instrument. Now, that's a daft thing to say if you don't really know what I mean, but yes, of course, voice, melodic, it's an instrument. But what I mean is that the sort of growls and different things there, he's using that as a texture, and he introduces his vocals perfectly because he takes over the lead with the chorus. Here it comes. Same progression from the start of the song, yeah. Come on, every time chills. In the legs again. I don't know how he does it. It's absolutely beautiful. He also has this fantastic restraint, which it might sound like an unusual word to use to describe some of Devin's music because it's quite obviously dog time. One second of peace and quiet, please. Impossible. What was I talking about? Restraint. Restraint in the guitars and bass. The musicians that he has, the ability that he has on the guitar, so easy to make those riffs decorative and busy. Go like, right, let's really juice this up. But no. The vocals are there, pure emotion. Anything going on, messing around there in the bass or the guitars are distracting us from that vocal and the message, whatever it may be, because I don't do lyrics. Gotta find those somewhere else, guys. I'm sorry. Can't do everything. So, but I feel the emotion even just from the music, you know, and all the performances. But listen to the same notes, da 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 da, which in most other songs would have me, you know, half asleep in a coma. Not here. This is how you do that simplicity of keeping things, you know, basic when it comes to, you know, selecting what needs to be sort of pushed in the mix, what our ears should be drawn, you know, masterclass in songwriting. The vocal. Everything's supportive to the vocal there. Next verse. More synths. Swirling all around us. Amazing. different pattern on the cymbals there. So dan dan da dan first time, and I think we're getting stereo there.
Maybe think about us. Reason
It's a wee bit harder to tell with where they're mixed. It sounds a bit more like middle and left. But I like that, you know, instead of just, you know, all on one side.
maybe think about
Oh yes. Also, so what have we got? I actually think rather than staying in the B there, there's an E major chord with a B in the bass, so that's why we still get this. We don't lose that. Doesn't go down to there or anything like that, but we can hear. It's definitely like an E major chord in there, and with Annika's vocals and so on. So that would mean that the piano sort of synthy, not like in a traditional acoustic piano, but whatever sort of keyboard sounds that are layered in there, we're using notes from the B major scale really, which has all the same sharps as the E major plus one more. So we get all these. Anything like that could be going on in the background. Everything's going to work, but we're not really noticing the individual notes, so to speak. We're just getting the texture. Why we get this and the strong sense of melody throughout.
thinking that you're gonna. You should maybe think about us. Reason in your own mind. You've already gone before.
And you hear even that whatever noise, that texture he's got in there for adding the drama, it pulls out on the jin 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 jin. Amazing productions. You can hear lots of Annika in the background supporting with it. Da-dum, ba-dum. All in there, all being blended and swirled around. Such a powerful operatic sounding voice from Devin. Can we go up? Now, what would be the bridge? Straight ahead. Devin's over here in the background. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know what that is that's being said, but all these different sort of vocalizations that are being, just like I said, swirling around. It's hard, I guess, for me to ignore those things because I've heard the song many times. And I bought this when it came out in 2009. So it's had plenty of time to seep into me, although I haven't listened to it in a very long time. So that's probably why the more obvious things, like the drumming and the bass and the guitar, whilst I'm hearing those, my ears are getting pulled into all the stuff in the background, you know? Possibly because I've assimilated it a long time ago, but maybe not. It could be also that thing I was just touching upon about keeping the sort of certain aspects of it minimal. And so once your ears have got the... I mean, that's essentially what's happening in the harmony here. So hanging on to that seems kind of pointless, really, with all this other stuff that's going on. Maybe that's why. I don't know. You guys let me know what way you hear it. If it's your first time hearing it, whether that rings true, it's the same experience for you, whether it's different, whether you've listened to it all this time, whether you've never heard these things. Some of these things I'm talking about, quite often, I get the impression why a lot of you enjoy listening to me talk about these things is, you know, reading through the comments. Quite a lot of the time I hear people saying, I've listened to this for years, or I've listened to this many times, and you're telling me things I haven't heard before. Now, it's going to be a combination of things. I do have a very good headphones monitor. Headphones are not particularly dear. I think £150 or something whenever I bought them years ago. I've had them for like maybe 10 years. So I know these headphones very well, but maybe just good ears. I don't know. In terms of music, plenty of things like when my wife's calling, my ears are hopeless. Never hear her. Right. Here we go. So we can discern a melody, but it's buried. Guitar right in her face. That voice. Yes, it's just different things. There's like motifs. The da 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 dun 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 dun. He's playing about it with that motif, even though it's the same harmony. One time it'll be the da 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 da, the other time it'll be da da, and they're coming at us. Some one's up, then the other one's down, and same with the drumming. The drumming's changing, depending on what the phrase is. His vocals are coming in and out, as far as I can tell. We hear. That's essentially what's happening. But it doesn't just stay there. It comes and goes, It's always there. But the levels in terms of the mixing. Lots of effects on it too. Right? This is the bit I was talking about to start. There's different tonalities going on here. It's like the band, the core central members of the band sound, the guitar, bass and drums are holding the thing together, but everything else around it is trying to break free into like another song. Could even be a different type of part of the song and a different key or whatever is blended in. I'm not quite sure. And again, I think that's intentional. I don't think he wants us to be able to recognize everything in this. It's like the equivalent of Easter eggs in films and different things. There's stuff buried in there. But my ears are definitely hearing clashing between the and completely other tonalities in this sort of swirling chaos, different vocals. Left me to die. Here. So all the voices talking at once. Yeah. Pushing it right to the limit. What's he gonna do? Let's get back. More from Monica, eh? Puts such a smile on my face. Outro link to the intro. Go straight into the next song, doesn't it? So do you hear that sort of callback in the coda, so to speak? That outro really is really a callback to what happened in the beginning, with more tension in the harmony and different themes, motifs that we've picked up along the way. They're put in there. It really, really is a coda in the sort of truest sense of the word. What a beautiful melody and chord progression with all the tension within the harmonies in the right place. Lovely G major 7 in there as well. And thank you very much, guys, for sticking with me through the video, and hopefully you all enjoyed this. It's been so long since I've listened to any Devin Townsend stuff, so it's really cool to get back to his music. And like, I don't know, countless amounts of shivers today, and not because it's cold, which it is, freezing as normal at this time of year in Northern Ireland. See you all again next time.